What's up everybody, I'm HoopsandHipHop. So, in case you didn't notice, a new trailer for Pokemon Ultra Sun and Ultra Moon just dropped a couple days ago, and I think it's safe to say that the hype is at an all-time high for these games, because this trailer confirmed one of the most crazy rumors that we have seen in a long time for Pokemon, and that's that Team Rocket is actually making a return in these games as Team Rainbow Rocket, and Giovanni is not messing around this time because he is bringing with him the leaders of every other evil team that we have ever seen in Pokemon. Now, obviously, this sounds amazing, but I actually noticed a couple things in the trailer that might implicate what is going to happen with Team Rainbow Rocket, or at least a part of what is going to happen with Team Rainbow Rocket in this segment of the game. And if it is true, it actually makes this whole concept even cooler, so I wanted to go ahead and share my theory with you guys today. Now, during the trailer, we get to see a little bit of gameplay from this Team Rainbow Rocket episode. We get to see Giovanni with his Mewtwo, and we also get to see all of the other evil team leaders. However, the interesting thing to note here is that there's actually a couple leaders that are missing, namely Guzma and Lusamine. Now, at first glance, it might seem normal that these two are missing from Team Rainbow Rocket, because it's likely that Team Rainbow Rocket and this whole episode and this whole section of the game is actually going to take place in the post-game. So it would make sense that they're not a part of Team Rainbow Rocket because you would have already dealt with them in the main part of the game. However, that being said, we also have a piece of artwork that accompanied the trailer that brings up even more interesting details and raises even more questions. In the piece of artwork, we see Giovanni and all of the other team leaders standing and basically being all menacing in the background behind the headquarters of Team Rainbow Rocket. We do not see Lusamine here once again, however we do see Faba, and that's kind of another theory for another day. However, what's really interesting here is that we do see Guzma, however he is not in the background with all of the other team leaders, he is actually in the foreground with the player character and basically all of the other quote-unquote protagonists of this piece of artwork. Now, the reason why this is interesting is because it implies that Guzma, a team leader, is not actually a part of Team Rainbow Rocket, and additionally, it also seems to imply that he may or may not be on the side of the player character, since he is kind of in the player character's group or posse, if you will, in this piece of artwork. Now, this actually would make a lot of sense if Guzma were to end up being a sort of good guy and maybe even help you fight Team Rainbow Rocket, because it plays into his whole backstory perfectly. As we know, Guzma is a bit of an outcast who, as a kid, really wanted to be a trial captain, but he got rejected, and the anger and frustration that this caused is what ultimately led him to create Team Skull, and it's basically the reason why he acts the way he acts, because he basically just wants to show everyone how strong he is in order to prove everyone wrong that rejected him in the first place. Now, as you might be able to tell, this could potentially be a plot line as to why he is not included as a part of Team Rainbow Rocket. I could very easily see Giovanni gathering together the members and the leaders of the other evil teams and taking a look at Guzma and saying, nah, you know, I don't think he's strong enough, I don't think he's good enough for our group. In fact, because we also know that Giovanni gathered these evil team leaders from universes where they actually succeeded, I could see him making some sort of cheeky remark and saying to Guzma, you know, I looked for a universe where you succeeded, but I just couldn't find one, or something like that. That just makes too much sense for it not to happen in some way, shape, or form similar to that, because it just plays so perfectly into Guzma's backstory and who he is as a character. Now, at this point, as you might be able to predict, after Giovanni has disrespected Guzma in this way, I could very easily see Guzma being like, you know what, I've had it, I am done with people disrespecting me and underestimating me, and I could actually see him flipping the script and going against the evil team leaders just to show them that they messed up and that he is a force to be reckoned with. Now, if this is indeed the case, this could provide an amazing new dynamic to this already amazing concept of Team Rocket coming back. I mean, just imagine it. You start off in the post game and you run into Giovanni, who is assembling his evil team, and maybe you run into Guzma along the way, who is basically trying to get himself into Team Rainbow Rocket because he believes he is a villain worthy of an evil super team like this. However, you witness an interaction between Giovanni and Guzma, and that's when Giovanni basically says, "You're not good enough, you're not cool enough," and basically rejects him right in front of your face. I could see a scenario where Guzma would be like, you know, I'm actually going to show you guys that you messed up, and with you standing right there watching the whole thing, actually decides to help you take down Team Rainbow Rocket as an act of revenge in order to show Giovanni that, you know, you should have taken me a bit more seriously. Now, I think this would be an amazing twist to this already amazing scenario that we've got going on in Pokemon Ultra Sun and Ultra Moon, because not only would it be a very cool twist on the gameplay where you're fighting villains with a former villain of the Pokemon franchise and of the 7th generation, but also on top of that, it would be a very good way to kind of conclude and basically make Guzma's story arc come full circle, because basically he started off as a good guy that became a bad guy because he got rejected and because his frustrations overcame him. Then, in this scenario, he would actually be able to prove everyone wrong and fight against the bad guys that he himself became, which would basically make him a good guy again, making his story arc come full circle, which I think would be amazing. Another thing I think would be amazing in terms of gameplay is if you took on parts of Team Rainbow Rocket in double battles with Guzma, similar to how you would take on certain sections of Diamond and Pearl, for example, with an accompanying character where all of your battles would be double battles. I think this would be an awesome mechanic to be able to battle with Guzma, and it may or may not be a nice hint towards Diamond and Pearl remakes, because we know Game Freak likes to hint at their upcoming games in their current games. So overall, I think this makes a ton of sense just from a gameplay perspective, from a Guzma story arc perspective, and from the evidence we have in front of us. I mean, what other reason would Game Freak have to basically exclude Guzma from this scenario, and furthermore put him in this featured artwork with the protagonists as opposed to the antagonists that we know Guzma to be one of? I just think it makes too much sense. I might not be right on the dot, it might not happen exactly like this, but I wouldn't be surprised at all if something similar to this theory happened in some way, shape, or form, and I really hope it does, because it would just make this whole Rainbow Rocket portion of the game even better. So I am really crossing my fingers and hoping for the best. Anyways, I hope you guys enjoyed this short theory video. I really wanted to be able to talk about Team Rainbow Rocket because it's such a big deal, and if you did, be sure to give the video a like, be sure to subscribe if you're new, because I will have a ton of Ultra Sun and Ultra Moon content coming as we get closer to the game. It'll actually be coming all throughout the month of November basically, and let me know your thoughts on what you think about this theory in the comments below. Do you like the idea? Is there something you want to change about it? Are you not really into the idea? No matter what your thoughts are on this, please let me know in the comments below. I'd really like to get a discussion going. Anyways, that's all I've got for this video. I will be back with another one soon. If you want some more content from me in the meantime, be sure to check out my new album that just barely launched yesterday. It's on iTunes, Google Play, and Spotify. I worked really hard on it, and I really love putting these kinds of things out, so definitely check that out. I would really appreciate it. And until the next video, as always, I will smell you guys later.